Hey everyone, good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is Wednesday, and this is True North. I'm really excited to be here. I'm still figuring out how everything works, including my flowers. But I hope everyone can hear me. I'm excited to be here. Today's an exciting topic that I want to talk about. Just before I get started, because I know this is a new podcast and a lot of people are new on my new channel. By the way, this is a live. By the way, the lighting, I'm still working on the lighting. I'm not too happy about the lighting. I did buy all new lighting equipment. But this podcast is a live video podcast. It is recorded on my YouTube channel, True North by Renata Merino. I was going live on Facebook. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to stick to YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. Twitch and Twitter for the True North channel, not my personal channel. So if you guys want to watch me or listen on those channels, that's great. But right now, all of my pre-recorded videos will be on my YouTube channel. So I would love for you to subscribe. And you'll get a pop-up and you'll be able to see us live every day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central. As I mentioned before in my first kickoff video podcast 2 days ago, this has been a long journey for me getting to this place, and I'm excited. It's very exciting for me. It took a lot of courage, and it may seem trite to many of you, but to be able to find my voice again and have the courage to speak about my true north and my journey is it's been a long time coming. So this is a big milestone for me, and I am excited to share my story and help as many people as possible. The goal of this video podcast is to impart words of wisdom and encouragement to many of us who are pursuing our true north, wanting to overcome adversity, whatever it is, personal, professional, and to make sure that we're living our life authentically and staying true to who we are as human beings and individuals. But today's topic is so exciting. Today's topic is, and you know what's so exciting about it is I have a PowerPoint slide. I said this on one of the things that how I got to this point, and I said this on my first episode, is this video podcast has been happening on Instagram for the past 2.5 years. And so it's taking me, and I think maybe it's taken me a lot to get to this place, but one of the episodes on my Instagram stories, and I would do it early morning, like 5 a.m. before my workouts. But one of them, and I wanted to bring it back. And so what I plan on doing is a lot of the innovation that I get, the aha moments, are when I sleep. I don't know about anyone else, but I tend to wake up with the greatest ideas in the morning. Mornings are my favorite time of day because it's a clean slate. You haven't interacted with anyone. You, my best ideas come in the morning as an entrepreneur. It's my time. It's when I work out. That's the first thing I do before my kids, before my work, before my emails, before this. But I get the best ideas in the morning. And for some unknown reason, maybe because I'm an academic, probably because I'm an academic and I've been an academic my whole life, I dream in PowerPoint. And the other thing I will say is one of my very, very many gifts that I'm proud of and that I help a lot of people with, especially entrepreneurs, when they're doing their presentations to investors or to anyone, and me speaking as an entrepreneur myself, I have a really good knack for turning a thought, a theory, an idea into a picture. So I'm a visual learner. I've always been a visual learner, even growing up. I remember taking notes as a kid, middle school and high school, college, business school. And the way I learn is through visualization. And what I mean by that, it's pictures, but most importantly, like even taking notes in class. I don't know if you guys remember taking notes in high school or college. What happens to me is I take notes in class, or I used to take notes. I love the classroom. I take notes in class, and then depending on how fast the professor speaks and how boring the class is or exciting of the class, I may have to rewrite the notes. But typically when I rewrite my notes, I organize it in a way where like I highlight things or I put it in a certain order. And when I'm taking a test or when I'm thinking about remembering back to my notes, I actually remember the words and where it was positioned on the paper. So like it's crazy. It's something to do with my brain. I don't know. But what I'm really, really good at is taking, and I love helping other people do it that don't have that skill, is taking an idea, a thought, and putting it into a slide or a picture. Very basic, not a lot of words. So I dreamt of a slide last night, or this was before. I dreamt of this amazing slide. And the topic of today, getting to the point, is hold the vision. And that applies to finding your true north, finding like what your purpose is, finding what your goal is in your career, what you want to do, where you will see yourself going. Like whether you're an entrepreneur and I want to start this company, whether you're in corporate and you want to be like CMO or this role, and all these. When I say vision, I mean it's almost in your right, any normal person, like I'm just saying, it was almost like you think it's impossible. Like when I say a vision, it's not a goal. There's a difference between a vision and a goal. So a vision is almost like your dream job or your dream position, or where it's almost related to your life. A vision, it's like you have to have so much passion for the vision. It's very ambiguous, but it is, it's aspirational. Okay. So when you identify your vision, this podcast is to help people kind of find their purpose through authenticity and overcoming adversity, both personal and professional. It's not just professional, but today we're talking specifically about professional, but I do believe that having a vision relates very equally to your personal life. And I'm a big believer. I launched a career development, like admissions consulting startup over 10, 15 years ago. 2000, whenever 2008 was, I don't know, do the math. But part of it was a services startup, and we got, myself and as well as other consultants, I had to hire people because we had such high demand. But we always gave advice to the prospective MBA saying your personal relates to your professional. So, when you write or you tell your story, it has to relate. And I say the same thing to entrepreneurs. Like, what is your story and how does it relate to the problem you're solving with your startup? So anyway, it's not a goal, it's a vision. So if you are thinking about your career and you're you want to do something, like I want to be whatever it is, like it has to be aspirational. That's a vision. It's almost like you think it's impossible to get. Maybe you're completely switching careers. Maybe you want to be like, for me, I'm going to give you an example for me. Like, I mean, I have multiple things I'm doing that I want to do. Obviously I want to be a professional speaker. I want to be an author. That's happening it's in the works now. But before, it was something that the other thing that's not even, I have no clue how to do. Eventually, I have no clue how to do, and I'm looking for guidance, is I want to be a model. And when I say model, not just like, I don't know what type, I don't know what it is, but I want it to be, and I want to be a fashion designer. Like those two things, I have no idea how to do it, but I'm going to do it. So let's say those are, and that's not really a vision. Those are more like goals. So I'm going to give you mine. My vision, and it's always been my vision since I was in middle school, but I just didn't know it. And this is what I want to talk about, is I want to support women, and I want to empower women to achieve their career goals, achieve their personal goals, live their true north, be authentic, have equality. I want to make the path for women easier. So it's almost like a legacy. So think of a vision as like a legacy. Like if you died tomorrow, God forbid, I've always talked about death. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? So I think, since I didn't know this when I was middle school, but I think as I just started discovering it, as I started making choices. Okay, so I'll have a graph later. I'll show it. Maybe I should show it now. Yeah, let me show it now. Hold on. I'm in the corner of a room, and so I'm really stuck back here. So let me see if I can, and I have to reach over and put this. Do I have the slide? Oh, hold on. Let me show the slide 1 second. See if I can do it. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Is that going to work? Hold on. It's not working. Show. For some reason, it's not showing. I don't know why. See, I'm learning. So why is it not showing? Hold on. What does it say? I can't. It's strange. It's not showing. So I think about a like an X and Y axis. It's like X and Y axis. Think about the top. Let's say the upper right quadrant, which is at the right. Think of that as like a cloud, just think of an image of like an empty cloud, all right, or a cloud. Inside of that, it says vision. Your vision is ambiguous. That's why I have the cloud. It's not like concrete. It's like a theme. Okay. It's almost like your purpose. And when I say purpose, so like, it's like, what is your vision? That's why this topic is called Hold a Vision. And so the starting point is at the 0 point on the graph. Okay. That's your starting point. I have a picture on, I'll probably see if I can put it up. Maybe I'll post some things and I'll put it up on, I'll figure it out how to share it so you guys can see it. But it's a starting gate, where the horses in a horse race, it's a starting gate when horses come out of the gate, they come out of the gate, guns a-blazing. It's a starting gate. So we have to start somewhere, right? At ground zero. And then between the starting gate and the cloud, I have these stairs. And think of that as like your career, your path to the vision. And so one of the things that I talk about is when you make decisions, let's start from the beginning. The first thing you have to do if you want to stay true to your vision is you need to, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I'll say it in every single podcast. You need to evaluate the 5 people the 5 people. First of all, everyone knows the 5 people you hang out with the most. Basically, the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most basically is like who you are. So you need to evaluate who are your friends, Who are you surrounding yourself with? What community do you live in? Who are you spending the most time with? Who is your partner? And even this includes family. And what I mean, and I don't, and it's really, really hard because nobody wants to forsake or ignore their family. And this is not, I'm not anti-family. I want to say this very eloquently and clearly and kindly. We cannot hold our vision if we are influenced by the people that we're hanging out with, meaning some of those people may not agree, and forget about if they don't agree. They may not see the same vision that you have, meaning, and you know what? It's not their life, it's your life. So if they're not supportive of you, it is going to be very arduous and challenging for you to attain your vision. It's going to take a longer time to get there. And it is going to not be fun. And, you know, that's why the number one thing you have to do before you're at the starting gate is you need to evaluate where you live, the community that you're in, who you're surrounding yourself with, who your partner is, who you spend time with every single day, because they are going to either help you or hinder your progress and how fast you get to your vision. Okay. And I'm not even saying like if they verbally say like you shouldn't do that. I'm saying if they have bad influences on you in terms of like the activities that you do, how healthy you are, you know, your daily habits, you know, do they have positive influence on you for you to be able to get to your vision? It's really, really important. And I'm speaking from a personal experience. It's who you're married to, who your partner is. I mean, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm going to do a session on this, probably on this podcast, is and I'll do an entrepreneurship kind of I have to figure out how I'm going to do it, like a founder specific one. But if you don't have a supportive partner, if you're an entrepreneur, it's very hard for you to be successful. And so, you know, it's critical for the people. And then coupled with that, if you don't have a community of other founders, you can have a supportive partner who's not a founder, or they are a founder, but if they're not, they're supportive of you, but they don't really live and breathe like the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. This is an example. Or for example, if you're an executive, if you're a CEO, especially you're female, oh my God, or male or female, doesn't matter. If you're an executive, you're running a company and your partner's not supportive of you and you come home and you're stressed out because you have to lay off all these people, they need to understand. You need to talk to them about that. Like, I mean, you don't have to talk to them, but they need to have empathy for you and they have to be supportive of you. If not, you feel alone, and I think it dampens and hinders the relationship. So you have to make sure whoever you are with get it. You know what I mean? And they're there for you. I mean, vice versa, right? And then coupled with that, I do believe that outside of the relationship, you need to have be part of a community that are other like individuals like you. For example, if it's a founder community, or if you're an executive, I know like YPO is an awesome community to be with other executives that are running businesses. And even like I'm in the venture space, being an venture female and minority venture capitalist, being with other women who are running funds and investing. I mean, it's a different, without them, it's very hard for me because I feel like I'm alone. And it's hard. It's a harder track for someone, you know, when you don't have people around you. So it's your partner, and it's making sure you surround yourself with a community of people, of like-minded people. That's the first thing you have to do before you're even at the starting gate, is you have to clean house. I call it clean house, and reshuffle your deck in terms of the people that are in your life, the community that you're in, where you're living. It is important. For me, I actually moved out of my town because it was not conducive for what I wanted to do in my chapter 2 of my life. I physically had to move. And can I tell you, it was the most difficult thing because I had been in the same town for, 12 years. And I knew where the dry cleaning was. I knew where everything was. And it was scary. It's scary to physically pack your bags and leave, and you don't even know where the dry cleaning is. Like it's very scary. But can I tell you, over time, it was scary for my kids. I had to move my kids. But can I tell you, over time, I started feeling empowered. I started feeling liberated. I started feeling like this is a clean slate. And I still had access, obviously, to the old, to pick up my kids and whatever. But I do believe, for me, it allowed me to open up so many doors to new people that were like-minded, and then surrounding myself to help me towards my vision. It really escalated and put me on a fast track and got me back on the track that I was on originally, to be able to go directly to hold my vision. So the first thing before you're even at the starting gate is to clean house. Okay. And so once you're at the starting gate, and this could be in any timeline. So time is not, it could be, you could be 25 years old, you could be older. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what stage in your career you are. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So don't get stressed out about time. I don't have enough time. You have plenty of time. You just have to do the right things to get yourself on the right track. So that's a fast track. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing is cleaning house. Just cleaning house, and putting yourself in an environment where you can stay focused on you and your vision, so you can hold your vision. Okay. So the second thing is, as you progress in your career, like, first of all, there's no linear path. And I actually posted this on Facebook, like, I don't know, 5 years ago. There was something I posted, and everybody was like, that's a great quote. I wrote, linear is boring. Linear is boring. Linear is boring. And I'm a linear. I was raised in a linear, and I actually had did over dinner conversation with a fellow Chicago Booth classmate who talked about this. He said that, and he was an executive at Kraft. I think he was an executive at Weber Grill, and he was an executive at Shure. Shure. This is not a Shure microphone, but I should have asked him to get me a deal on a Shure microphone. He's a musician. The guy's like brilliant, multifaceted. Anyway, I'm checking the time because I want to make sure I have to get all my cards to do rapid fire. But anyway, we over dinner, we're having this conversation. This was maybe 3 years ago, and he's actually on on my industry advisory board for what I'm working on. But he said, we grew up, some of us grew up with families who, they wanted the best for us. They wanted the best for us. And the way they viewed success is in a linear path, meaning, go to a great high school, get good grades, which I'm not discouraging people to not get good grades, but, make sure you're involved in all the activities, like make sure you get that checklist or you're not going to get into a good college. Again, I'm doing this for my kids. I just had this conversation with my daughter. I said, I'm like, what activity you're going to do? You can't just do one thing, and it's less about like the checklist. It's more about exposure to different things so she can figure out what her passion is. The bottom line is, he said, get into the good college. And then after college is like, get the top, what's the most popular job to get? Like, I remember for me, when I was at Bowdoin, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember most of the guys, I don't really follow girls. It's not like I was following the guys, but most of them were getting jobs in investment banking. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's what everyone else is going to do. So like, that's what I'm going to do. And so I pursued investment banking, and that's what I did. I networked my way to invest. I mean, I didn't even know what a debit credit was. I didn't even know what the present value of money was. I had but I did it. And that's kind of how I am. I'm like, once I put my mind to something, I just get it done. I just figure out a way to get it done. I took night classes, whatever it is. That's what I do. But again, it's like, what do your parents teach you? What's the linear path? And then I remember being in business school. I remember being in investment banking, and everybody's like, oh, you can't get and I want to get promoted. First of all, I wanted more money and I want to get promoted. So I found out that in order to get promoted to associate, you either needed an MBA or a CFA. And so I literally dedicated all my 2 summers in a row to get my CFA. I failed twice, but because I wanted to get promoted, I'm like, that's the linear path. And then I didn't. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply to business school. So like this conversation with my friend, our parents are like, what is the linear path? And so I posted this thing a couple years ago, like 4 years ago, that linear is boring. So in the graph that I have, that's not working. Sorry, because I actually spent the time creating it. It actually is a pretty cool graph. It has stairs. So the stairs are rigid. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you go up one stairs and sometimes you can go up a stair and down a stair. That's if you go, the stairs go all the way up to the cloud. Okay. But you can go up a stair and you can also go down a stair, and you will go down a stair if you have the wrong people on your team. You know what I'm saying? You'll go up a stair and you probably go down 2 stairs if you have the wrong people on your team. If you're in the wrong community, if you're surrounding yourself with if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing the right things, you will go up a stair and then down 2 stairs. It will be slower for you to get to your vision. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why cleaning house and making sure, and there's a lot of other things you can do to actually make sure you hold your vision. Mental, physical, emotional health. Like I'm always promoting that. But anyway, so what was I saying? Okay. So that it's a stairwell. So it's rigid. It's not a straight line. That whole point is it's not a straight line. Linear is boring. And what I mean by that is that my friend and I were talking. He's like, all of a sudden I found myself. He was one of my University of Chicago Booth School of Business classmates. He's such a great guy. Anyway, he's like, all of a sudden I found myself on the CMO track at, where was he? Was he at Shure, or I don't know which company, or Weber Grill? I think it was, I can't remember which one. Maybe it was at Shure. Don't quote me on this. And he's like, I'd be in my office. Listen to this. He's a VP. So he was on the CMO track. He's like, right in business school, I'm like, I'm going to be a CMO. Like he's like, I got to get to CMO, All these executives are like, I got to get to CMO. I got to CMO, COO, CMO, COO, CEO. And he was on that track, and he's a high performer, right? But he said this. He's like, I'd be sitting in my office and other VPs would come, or whoever, people who are managing people, other teams, not his team, but like other departments. He said they would come into my office and literally say like, Steven, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, sure, come in. And they'd come in, they'd shut the door, and they would always talk to him about team management, team dynamics, managing people, how to, like, obstacles that they were like, people working with each other, like human resource stuff. They would come to him. They didn't go to HR. They went to him. And so he noticed, and they weren't coming to him about like a problem, like a product problem or a service problem. They were coming to him about a people problem, because he had such great innate talent managing his team. They all got along. They were a high performing team because he was really good at it naturally. And it's just the type of leader he is. He's so authentic. He's such a down-to-earth guy, and he's smart. Okay. But bottom line is, he said he had an aha moment. So he'd been following this linear path to CMO. And yet he had this aha moment one day, because he was like, is this really fulfilling me? Is this like trying to do that linear path to CMO? Is it like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because my parents want me to? Am I doing this because society wants me to? Like, is it, once I get there, is it going to be fulfilling for me in my life? And the answer was no. So he was like almost at the CMO. I think he was like, right there. And he had a aha moment, like, this is not my passion. I like helping people manage teams. I like leadership development. I want to help other people manage their teams. The same thing happened to me. I was on the CMO track, and this was like, I had shifted. I was an entrepreneur, and I'm like, maybe I just need, and I had gotten a divorce, and I'm like, I need to make money. Like, I need to be responsible. I have to provide for my kids. I'm not going to get that from my ex-husband. I have to do this myself. And so I started having that. I knew my passion was entrepreneurship. I'm like, but I can't be a poor entrepreneur, and I was getting a lot of slam doors in my face to male venture capitalists telling me no for funding my startup. And I'm like, I have to stop that vision. I'm going to start crying. I have to stop that vision, and I need to be responsible. So I stopped that path, and I'm like, I can be a CMO of a Fortune 500 company. I'm just going to go that path. And so I started interviewing. That's initially right after I got divorced. I'm like, I need to be responsible. I almost like my parents' voice was in my head. Like, you need to be responsible. And this is nothing against my dad. And I will say this is a very hard thing for me to say. And I love my dad. Okay. But my parents are very traditional parents. They're very linear, and this is not a bad thing. They just want their kids to be responsible and independent. And I know my parents want me to be financially self-sufficient. They've always wanted me to be like that. And, especially after a death or divorce or whatever, women need to be like this. And so I was trying to take responsibility. But I remember the day that my dad said this to me after maybe a few drinks. We both had a few drinks, and my mom was there. And this is hard for me to say publicly, but I will. And my friend said this. My friend Steven, he did. His parents never said that, but it was inferred. It was inferred. You need to be responsible, meaning like you need to have a salary, you need to have a 401k, you need to have, mutual fund. Like you need to be responsible. And so I remember I had launched multiple startups. I had, just renegotiated my divorce. I was, reinventing my career, I remember I had to redo my LinkedIn. I was like meeting with a career coach. I was like trying to figure stuff out. This was 2018 and I was on vacation with my parents. And I remember at dinner after a few margaritas, my dad was like, so when are you going to get a job? I'm like, I have a job. That my response was, I have a job. And his response was, no, a real job. And, for the first time in my life, I've never done this to my dad because he's, very, no one ever stands up to my dad. Like, no, this is the first time in my life I said this to him. I was like, my 40s doing this. I said, this was the hardest thing for me to do. And to this day, I'm going to probably start crying right now. I said to him in a respectful way, I said, why can't you just be proud of me? That's what I said. And I think, he couldn't respond. He actually left the table, but he was upset because he's not used to hearing that. He's not used to having one of his daughters speak up to him. I'm an adult. And so took a lot of courage for me to do, but it was true. It was really, really true. I think as parents, we just have to support and love our kids for who they are and not what we want them to do and what we want them to be. I understand that parents just want the best for us, but maybe the best for us, what they think the best for us is really not the best for us. And so I think at a certain point in your life as an adult, we love our parents, we respect our parents, and however the childhood was, it doesn't matter. It could be bad. And we want to love them and we want love from them. But there's a certain point in time where if they think the linear path is the right path, that may not be the right path for you. And so I think the number one thing is staying true to your vision, holding your vision, and not letting outside influence, including family, sway you. So in my case, I was on the CMO track and quite honestly, I was led off that track because I can get into this on another day, but I got back on track on my entrepreneurship journey in a much better, more advanced track. Let's say not a more advanced, I would say a more strategic track, but it's still entrepreneurship. So basically, getting to the stairwell. So anytime you make a career decision, this is what I would do. And it's not just like the one job. It's not like picking the one job to get to your vision. It's like this. So let's say this. I'm trying to think of a really good example. So my vision is like women empowerment. I wrote this down in my slide. Women empowerment, supporting younger girls, younger generation, like equality for women. Like it's almost like phrases and words that I feel very passionate about, it's part of my legacy. And, I want to be able to create sustainable legacy for women, inequality for women. And so every single career path that I take, even a volunteer career path. So for example, there's and so like, there's like all the nonprofits I sign up for, like where do I see an injustice? For example, like in sports, like I'm an athlete. All right. And so, or I was an athlete and part of growing up as a little girl, my leadership development skills and my confidence in myself really was generated on the soccer field as an athlete and in multiple other sports, because I was athletically talented. And I also do believe there's a lot of analogies between sports and leadership in business. So like on the soccer field, I always had a vision. I always loved leveraging the skill sets of my teammates to be able to accomplish a goal. So I feel like there's a lot of analogies. So when I signed up for a nonprofit, Um, Recently, I became a board member. Again, it's volunteering my time. They love the fact that I'm a former female athlete. They love the fact that I work with and network with other, collegiate and pro athletes. And they want to do a campaign for girls and keeping them in sports, because they do believe there's a strong correlation between young girls in sports and leadership in business and success in their careers. And so I have the shared values with this particular nonprofit. And how does that relate to my vision, to like where I'm going? It's part of that cloud. All the things I sign up for are in the same theme of that cloud. So I think if we're the stronger leaders and the more successful you're going to have to attain your vision, is to sign up for things that relate to that same vision. And it's not just like the one job, it's everything. And I'm trying to think another example for that. Okay, the speaking engagements that you sign up for, the podcasts that you sign up for. So every single podcast I've done is either on diversity and the importance of having diversity in venture capital. What's another one? Overcoming adversity, like talking about like how to get into how to become an angel investor, how to become a venture capitalist. Like what was my path? What was my journey? So it's always around the same thing, doing this podcast. And it's not about, this podcast could be about entrepreneurs. It could be about executives. It could be about anybody. It's really not anybody. And so I think those stairs leading up to that cloud, again, the number one thing is make sure you surround yourself and you're in the right community with the right people, because it's going to be a much easier feat when you have supportive community and supportive partner and supportive people around you than when you have people that are bad influences or discouraging you from attaining that vision. I don't know if that was helpful, but I just want everyone to make sure that whatever they sign up for, whatever meeting, this goes down to like the meeting that you take. So I'm saying like the Zoom call that you take, the people that you want to align with, partners, customers, startups, companies that you're launching, things that you invest in. If you're an investor, where are you going to put your money? Like, do you align with the values of that fund, that person, that startup? Every single thing that you do, and I think, and I think the number one thing is, after you clean house and reshuffle your deck and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right community, the right people, the right partners. And the number one thing is making sure that you're really, really good at vetting people and saying no, like saying, okay, I'll take this call or I won't take this call. When you can do that, you're going to attain your vision. You're going to attain your goals that much faster, because the way I said this to somebody, I think I said it to a founder. They wanted to have me on their board, this one guy yesterday. And I'm like, I've learned, because I'm a pay it forward. I give my time a lot to a lot of people, but it's a fault of mine. It's been a fault, and I'm getting better at it, is saying no. Or saying, listen, I'll do this, but you need to pay me, or you need to like compensate me for something. So I'm not just volunteering my time anymore. And it's not being obnoxious. It's not being a bitch. It's literally because I have my vision. I need to hold my vision. And signing up with this guy and his wife, because they're a co-founding team, does relate to my vision. But if I spend too much time with them, it's going to detract from my main goals, which are part of that cloud, part of that vision. I don't know if that was helpful. I'm hoping it was, and I'm really bummed that I can't get the background. Oh, maybe I have to do something. I don't know. Well, I want to do cards. I don't know if that was really helpful, but I hope it was. And I didn't pick my cards out, so I'm going to lean over and get them right now. Hold on one second. Sorry. Sorry. I wasn't prepared. And I forgot my coffee. Eventually, I want to have my own cards. I'm going to produce my own cards because I've got my own questions. But basically, what I want to do with these cards, hold on one second. I think there's 2 more I want to get. 1 second. Basically, what I want to do with these cards, move this out of the way, is I want to have a guest. So right now, I'd probably bring on a guest. I'm thinking about who it should be. Hold on. I love the ones with question marks. You don't know what you're going to get. By the way, I haven't looked at these. I'm just literally picking them. But I want to have a guest because I want to do this rapid fire questions to the guests. Well, first of all, I want the guest to talk about the subject, and I'd like to get their opinion on it. Male or female, doesn't have to be women. I would like to have some executives on here. Maybe my friend Steven. I would love to invite him. Oh my God, maybe he would do it. I'm going to ask him. I may invite him. Actually, I may invite him. That's a really good idea. I'll talk to him about that. He's awesome. He's got a great startup. He's an entrepreneur. Helping teams with leadership development. And he's got some great tips. He's such a nice guy and smart. But anyway, I'd like to have the guests talk about this respective subject that we're doing each day and call them in maybe around, 9:30, and then do rapid fire just to the guests. I just think that doing random questions that are unprepared, I think you get to know the person a little bit better. They have to be transparent and authentic, and you don't know what the question is. They don't know it, and it kind of catches them off guard. And I like it. I like the. I think it's fun. I think it's fun, and I think it tells a lot about the person. It tells a lot about their value system. It tells what's important to them. It tells a lot about. It says a lot about them and like whether or not. I just think it's great. It's great. It's great. Anyway, let's do the questions. I can't see, so I need my glasses. All right, you ready? I love these. So much fun. What are you afraid of at 3 a.m.? Oh my God. I'm not really afraid. You guys ever have a nightmare and wake up and thinking it's real? That hasn't happened in a while. Actually, I don't have nightmares. This is when I get, 3 a.m. is when I get my aha moment. Sometimes, have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. and had to write something down? I have. I do wake up at 3 a.m. pretty much consecutively. I would say out of a 7-day work week or regular week, I get up at 3 a.m. at least 4 times. And you know what? Usually I never get. This was just recently, like the past 2 years. 1 year. 1 year, not 2 years. 1 year. By the way, don't look at your phone at 3 a.m. Don't look at your phone at 3 a.m. You know why? Then you start scrolling and then you'll never go back to sleep. That's like I would love to take a poll in here. Too bad I can't do a survey. I would like to know how many people, if they wake up at 3 a.m., do you look at your phone? The other survey I'd like to take is, and I didn't do this. We started doing it as a family and then it kind of just dwindled away. How many of you, this is such a great question. I would love to survey this. How many of you tell everyone in your house, like, to leave their phones downstairs and not take them in their room? Oh, by the way, I do think that putting a TV in your bedroom basically destroys your marriage. Do not put a TV in your bedroom. I'm not doing it. I don't have a TV. No. Phones, any kind of technology in the room ruins a marriage. I'm not afraid at 3 a.m. I'm not afraid at 3 a.m. But when I was little, I would be afraid of like I'd always have to check the closet. By the way, when I was little, I can't remember how old, for about a couple years, I always had to check under my bed. I think I was older. I had to make sure there weren't any monsters. I had to check under my bed. I had to look in the closets, and then I was fine. Isn't that crazy? I think I was older. I think it was like all the way up until like 13. I checked all those areas. This is very TMI, but I love being TMI. Okay, ready? Next. All right, this one is entitled Past, Present, and Future. Have you ever had your future read by a psychic? I mean, have you guys? I have. I'm going to tell you the first time. This question. Are you serious? I mean, what? It was, okay. So when I was married with my kids, we had my ex-husband's family had a house in Galena, Illinois. It's 3 hours. I actually really like it. I actually might go there this weekend if the snow goes away. By myself, I don't care. It's an awesome farm country town that's literally 20 minutes from Dubuque, Iowa. There's probably 7 million cornfields. It is the most down-to-earth, wholesome town, and I love it. And can I tell you, I'm friends with all the store owners. They're all entrepreneurs, and I'm like, literally, they know me. I mean, the coffee guy. I mean, how is it that I'm best friends when I go there? The two places and the two people I love the most, the two entrepreneurs, are one owns the coffee shop, Pilates, Tony. He's Latinx. He loves me, and the other one's Jamie's wine bar. Jamie. I mean, wine and coffee, of course. How is it? Really? But anyway, we every year for, I don't know, we've been going there for, I don't know, how long was I married for? I even went there before we had kids. He grew up going there in the summer, like for fun, and playing golf and stuff. So it's 3 hours from Chicago. It's actually a really amazing place. And by the way, like I want to go now. I literally, you know what it is? When you go to a wholesome place, a down-to-earth, wholesome place without technology, it's very basic, it's very farm, it's very like true America, like literally basic. It grounds you. I do believe that getting away from the city, getting away from all this crazy parties and chaos, like I think going and getting away in nature, it's very natural, really keeps you grounded. And it keeps you, when I say grounded, it keeps you focused on the things that matter, not all the flashy stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? It keeps you grounded and stable. I honestly highly believe that we all need to stay grounded. And when I say grounded is like really know what really matters in life at the end of the day. That's how I feel when I go there. I may go there this weekend. It's so amazing. I love it. Getting back to the question. I'm skating around the question. Have you ever had your future read by a psychic? So when we were going there with the kids, even before, there's in town, there's awesome shopping. There's a little area that a lot of the psychics, they have their card tables and they kind of set up shop. So we'd go there a lot. Every time we'd go there and we walk by them, I'm always like, afraid and almost judging everyone, like, who would do that? Like, I don't want to know my future. I'm scared. I was always scared. I don't want to know. I'd rather not know. What if it's bad? I don't want to know and if anything's bad's coming. I was afraid. And so this was year after year, time after time. I'm like, why are these people doing this? And then I remember when I got divorced and I went there with my kids for the first time, and I leaned into one of my fears is going back to a place I had gone to thousands of times, lots of memories. And it's hard. It's hard when you have a life change, just going back to a place that you spent a lot of your time. You have to be really brave because it was very emotional for me, but I wanted to lean into that. I wanted to get over that emotional hurdle. So I'm like, guys, we're going, let's go. So I remember walking by the tables and my kids, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting a reading done. When was that? Oh my God, when was that? That was summer 2019. No. Yes, summer 2019. I had my first reading ever in my life done. It was very interesting. And I still have, I think I posted on Instagram. Yeah, it's an interesting, I should go back and look at it. But yeah, that was my first one. Interesting question. Let's do another one. What time is it? Okay, we've got time. All right, let's do this one. This one has a cloud. See, guys? My cloud. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I meant. That's on my my PowerPoint slide, which somehow I'm going to actually include it. How am I going to include it? But that's it. Think about that. It says the word vision inside of it. That's kind of what I drew. The question is, what will you be able to do on the internet in 5 years you're not able to do now? This is all about Web3, right? Someone needs to give me a nice 10-minute course on Web3 and what you can and cannot do. I think my Bowdoin College intern was kind of giving me a 5-minute course. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more that we can do, but I have not invested my time in Web3, but I want to learn more about Web3 because I think that's going to have a huge impact on what we can do and what we cannot do. But I need somebody who's an expert who wants to spend time with me and give me a crash course so I can make sure I'm well versed. All right, next question. If you could add a new feature to your room, what would it be? A waterfall. I have a waterfall. When I moved into my new home several years ago, I basically set it up like a spa, and I put all the elements. This is part of actually staying grounded, I think, and doing self-care. We talked about self-care yesterday. I made my space, thank God, because then we went COVID and then you're stuck in your space. I made my space like my safe haven. Based on what I went through, I needed to have a safe haven, and I need to set it up the way with beautiful flowers, with all my, things I love about my past, my things I love, books, furniture, white furniture, airy, happy, bright, but sound. So I'm a water person. So I love being near the water, on the water, in the water, hearing the water. It's soothing, it's calming. And so I installed a waterfall. It's like one of those frame things that the water keeps going up and down, and it's just the sound of water. It's just very calming. And so I would like to install one in my room because I would have it on all night. Okay, what else? Wait, hold on. If you could add a new feature. Yeah, I would add that new feature. I would not add a TV. Okay? That ruins marriages. I don't want to. If you want to watch TV, go downstairs and watch TV. No. Okay. Ready? I don't know what this one is. Oh my God. What? You ready? It says, who do you miss most? I'm going to be honest. There is a person I miss a lot. I don't want to say who it is, but I miss this person a lot. And they already know who they are. But yeah, there's somebody I miss a lot, but I'm not going to publicly say who it is. But I think there's a lot of us that miss people a lot. I think there's a lot of us, quite honestly, that I miss a lot of people. But, there's always a time and a place to be with the people that you love the most, right? There's always a time and a place. That's all I have to say. Okay. The last one is girl power, and then I got a split. I hope this was informative. This is fun. And I cannot wait to have guests. I have to think about some guests. I'm going to talk to some people. I would love to have my friend Steven on here. He would be great to talk about team dynamics and working with people and leadership. I think actually he may be really, really good. There's another woman I want to have on here. I have to talk to her. She's a psychologist. And she does a lot of these sessions on True North and what she means by True North. And I think she would be actually probably really valuable. She's more of an expert than I am. I'm just sharing my story. She can add some data behind what it takes to achieve your vision. So maybe she might be a good first guest. She's a data-driven girl like me. I think she has a PhD. I'm all about the PhD. Okay, ready? This is the girl power one. Viola Davis. She's the first African-American actor to achieve the triple crown of acting by winning an Oscar, a Tony, and an Emmy. She also grew up in extreme poverty. In 2015, she teamed up with Hunger Is, an organization working to end childhood hunger. Here's her quote. Acting, writing scripts, and skits were a way of escaping our environment at a very young age. The question is, what's your favorite dream about your future? That's a really good question. I'm really excited about my future. My favorite, what is the question? I'm really excited. There's some great stuff coming in the pipeline. What's your favorite dream about your future? And it's not about, let's put it this way. Yes, it's about career success and making sure I'm financially stable, like the things that most of us define ourselves, most of society defines successes like money, fame. That's not how I define it. My favorite dream about my future is that I am going to give women, this again relates to my vision, I am going to create a much easier path for women in terms of equality in all different facets of life, whether it's in the home and the role we play in the home, whether it's in corporate, in business, and freeing up some of the obstacles that have been in my path as an unfair advantage, freeing up some of those, clearing out those unfair advantages. And my goal in that what is it? This cloud. Let me find the cloud. Hold on. This cloud, this vision. My goal is to make sure that this is really important to me. And again, why am I talking about death? But I want to make sure I leave down a legacy. And when I say legacy, it's not just like me being famous. It's about like what can I leave behind that's sticky? And what I mean by sticky is it laws in government, policy change? Like it has to be something that is literally when I'm not here, it's going to make that path for women a lot easier. Because I think about my daughter, I think about my friends' daughters, I think about like other people's daughters. Like, what can we do to make it easier? And it shouldn't be easier because right now there's a photo. I wish I had the photo. I think it was in the New Yorker of a man in a suit. It's a white guy in a suit. He was balding, by the way. Not that it matters, but it was a white guy in a suit. And he was at the starting line, like a track. And then there was a woman, I think she was like a female minority or whatever. They were both looking at each other. And in front of his path were just like, when in track, you like jump over the hurdles. There were like two and everything else was clear. And there was like a finish line. And then in front of her track, she had the hurdles, but she also had like bombs and barbed wire fences and all this stuff that she had to get over and get through, or like literally obstacles. And he looked, and on the quote of the New Yorker cartoon, it said, "Quit whining, it's the same distance." And that's what I'm talking about. I want to clear out the barbed wire. I don't want to clear out everything. I think the hurdles, I think it should be equal. I think the two hurdles should be there for both people. But I think that what I want to do is clear out the barbed wire fences, the bombs, and everything else that we have to deal with when we are little girls. This is not just when we're like older. I'm saying when we're little girls. It starts when we're little girls, the day we're born. So that's kind of my, what was the question? Hold on. What did I say? Sorry. I think it's like, what am I excited about? My dream for my future. I'm excited about what I'm going to leave behind and that it's sticky. That's what I'm excited about because I know I will. I will literally not rest until I know that whatever I do it has a sticking point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it can't be, nobody can change it. It's like a stamp in the ground. I'm a results-oriented person. I'm not a fame and fortune person. I am, what are the results? My high is seeing impact. That's my high. So I need to see that it's not just impacting one woman. It has to be impacting hundreds and thousands of women. Anyway, that's hopefully everyone, that was informative today. I thought it was fun. I like it. I'm excited to do this every day. Like I said before, this will be live. Right now, I'm just deciding where I feel comfortable putting this live. Right now, I do not want to put it on Facebook. I want to keep it on YouTube. I would love for you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel so it could pop right up on your phone. The other thing is, so this will be YouTube live, Twitch on the True North. I think it says True North Renata's. Is that Twitch? No, True North Renata's Twitter. And I have to remember what the other ones are. But we're going to be live. And then I will put this audio on all the other outlets for audio podcast. Although I do like to have visuals and I love being on camera, but I do like to have PowerPoint presentations and visuals on my video podcast. Hence why I'm initially launching it as a video podcast, but I will do an audio for sure. The other thing I forgot to mention is every day I want to have a book of recommendation. And since I have a few more minutes, I have 5 minutes. This book, so I mentioned this on and I'm not promoting her, although I love her. I mentioned this, I think my first or second podcast. For years, when I was a first-time mom with babies, I didn't have any time to read at all, like leisurely reading. Then once I started freeing up some of my time as my kids got older and not in diapers and, in school and just not being as tired, because women are tired when we're new moms, I started reading more. And so this is one of the books that I highly recommend for women. I do think men should read it, but I don't think they will. I hope they do. They should, because it will offer them new perspectives for women. But this is Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and it literally changed my life. It actually didn't change my life. My life was already changing. It just validated a lot of things about what was going on with other women and just validated what was happening with a lot of my Blazing Babe members about actually True North and living authentically. And I think a lot of the times as women, and men, this is not like, but I think that we are heavily influenced by society, what society wants us to be, how to be, what type of life we should have, who we should marry, who we should be, where we should live, what kind of car we should drive, what our roles should be. And we're heavily influenced by society that we end up not being our authentic selves. We end up not even following our true north, and we end up not even holding our vision. We're morphing into something else that we don't even like. You know what I mean? And it's because of the linear path that we were raised on, what we should do, not what we want to do. And this book, actually, I literally cried on page 2. Let's see what page 2 is. Oh my God, I remember, I think. I was on the beach in Nantucket, my favorite place where I want to spend my entire summer with my kids. And we were all reading and I started crying. Mommy, are you okay? I'm fine. I think it was the prologue. Her prologue is, the title is called Cheetah. So Untamed, she does this analogy about a cheetah. And she was at the zoo and with her kids, I don't know, with or without her kids, but she was looking at this cheetah, and cheetahs are wild, right? And so I think she was talking about looking at the cheetah being sad and feeling kind of not invigorated and not running around and not like happy. And it's at the zoo. It's like trapped. And I think she used the analogy of the cheetah being trapped at the zoo with women and what happens to us when we're free and we're wild and we can be ourselves. And then when we're put in this like suburb house with the, the SUV, and like we're doing something. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying you could do that, but are you living your true north? Are you pursuing what you're passionate about? Are you surrounding yourself with the people that encourage you? Are you just doing a role just to do the role because society says you have to do the role? That's why I love this book. So anyway, I recommend. I love her. I want to meet her one day. Hopefully, I can be on her podcast because she has an amazing podcast called "We Can Do Hard Things." I'm promoting her podcast, but she's awesome, and I love Abby Wambach. She's married to Abby Wambach, and yeah, they're creating the life they want, and I look at them as role models, and they're so funny, and what they post on social media is always so authentic. And that's kind of how I want to be. And so I think the more we can live our true north, the more we can be our authentic selves, and break free from the constraint of what society wants us to be, the more freer and happier we're going to be with our life. Anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. I'm going to post kind of how you can, little information about me if I can do it right. And then I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Later.